please welcome to the stage, Mike Carrion.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. NBA Bid on a Thursday. Hope everybody's having a good little day. It is cold and rainy here for those looking for a weather update. Man, fun basketball, dude. We're just having a good time. I'm actually happy the Celtics got knocked out so I could just sit back and relax and enjoy that chaos. That was a fun one. We're going to be talking Pacers and Knicks, some MVP stuff. We'll get ready for tonight's action, and then we'll get you on out of here. Who do we got in the chat this morning? Todd Packer just got here early, 7:36 a.m. When the stream was first uploaded, just firing some stuff into the chat. He's giving some Pacers some love. Regulator with some statistical analysis here. NBA teams are 0-970 in the playoffs over the last 27 years, when trailing by 14 plus with under 250 left in regulation before last night. Boston Base in the chat. We got the Common Man here. Happy birthday to Beef Stew and Lowry. We got DJP. Stubbs is here. Happy National Craft Distillery Day. Thank you, Snoopaloop. Weisberg's here. Raven's here. A lot of fun. If it's your first time here, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel, like the stream, do all those stuff. If you're watching us on Twitter, come on over to the YouTubes. Come on over to the tubes. All right, let's just start. Let's just watch some stuff, man. There's no need. You don't even need me to talk to you. Let's just watch some stuff. I mean, it's just insanity. Last night was absolutely nuts. The Knicks took a page from the Boston Celtics here at the end by just being terrible down the stretch. But let's look at this last Hallie play, huh? Let's do it. Let me share. Am I sharing screen appropriately? Let's do it.
Halliburton. He'll take it. He'll backpedal, a three for the win.
Okay, pause it right here. You want to know why I paused it? You can't see the ball. The ball left the stream. The ball is out of focus. It's out of the lens. That's how high this shit bounced up. You cannot see the ball right now. This is crazy. Crazy. Bang. Also, listen, just Halliburton immediately going to the choke. I've got some thoughts on this. A lot of people were like, how did he have that in his bag already? I imagine being at this level, someone who's been on Monday Night Raw, someone who understands podcasting, media, whatever. I got to imagine this was similar to somebody who was nominated for an Oscar or an Emmy. And it's like, hey, I got to have the speech ready just in case, you know? And that's what this was. Halliburton was ready just in case. And in that moment, knocks it down, hands to throat, gives him the choke, throws back to Reggie. Fun fact for those who forget, like, yeah, hey, man, 6 celebration. Pacers for sure lost that series when Reggie did that. They for sure lost that series when Reggie did that. So that was crazy. I also want to, we're going to watch someone else's content now. For those that don't know, Jared McCain was doing BR, Bleacher Report social stream last night, and this was sick. I thought this reaction was great. I'm full team McCain.
No timeouts left.
Oh, there you go, bro. We got
for game. Bayou Burger.
Oh my God.
Also, hold on. This kid in the bottom right kind of looks like if Ben Simmons and Halliburton were like joined. Like if this one on the right, that looks like Simmons and a Halliburton combined. Am I wilding? I feel like that's Ben Simahalla. That's crazy. All right, hold on. Just great stuff, man. Listen, this is an epic meltdown. This is an epic meltdown by the Knicks. I don't know how this happens. I mean, Aaron Nesmith was crazy. We've got some more stuff to show here in a little bit. We've got some other fun clips, but let's just go over to the worldwide leader. Let's do some box score hunting here. So the final score, 138-135. This game was nuts, man, from start to finish. It starts with the Pacers not missing a shot until like 6 minutes left. Honestly, the Knicks weren't missing shots either. Both teams, at one point, I think with like 4.5 left to go in the first, the Pacers were shooting like 91% from the field, and the Knicks were shooting 70-some-odd%. And somehow, and when we got to the end of the first, I was like, man, the Knicks are going to win this game because with the Pacers shooting out their ass, right? Just fireworks going everywhere. Everything is falling down. Miles Turner looked like a combination of Larry Bird and Ray Allen. Like he was insane in this game. And all of a sudden, they're down 2 somehow. They're down 2. It's crazy. So, the shots are falling, though. Like, looking at Turner's stat line here for a second. He finished the game with 14 points and 5 boards. I promise you, I think he must not have scored in the second half because all of those buckets were coming down early in the game. Nembhard, he had 15, but I mean, the story was Halliburton, right? 31 and 11. I think at the end of the first quarter, Halliburton only had 4 points, and I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those Hallie games. And the defense the Knicks were throwing at him was pretty bizarre there late in the second quarter where they were doing some real aggressive drop coverage. There was a couple of times where Cat was sagging so far off. Halliburton saw the ball go through the hoop a couple of times, and then all of a sudden he was off to the races. But the real story in this second half, man, Obi Toppin down the stretch. Where do you have 20 points in the fourth quarter? He finished the game 8 for 9 from 3. 8 for 9 from 3. Insane. In doing it on both ends. That's the other crazy part is that Nesmith, sometimes you get a 30-point score. Like, look at the rest of the 30-point scores in this game. Halliburton, Brunson, and Karl Anthony Towns. Those guys weren't playing defense. Nesmith had the responsibility of chasing and getting slapped in the face by himself with running around Jalen Brunson. I don't know if you guys saw that clip. And it's slowed down. So obviously that's not what happened. But it looks like Brunson grabs Nesmith. They got tied up. And eventually this was called an offensive foul on Brunson. But they got tied up. Brunson kind of grabs Nesmith's hand and like pushes his hand up, almost like a bully being like, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? That's kind of how he was treating Nesmith there. But for Nesmith to drop 30, to do what he did down the stretch and taking on the toughest defensive assignment, I mean, it's just next level stuff. You expect this from role players on the home team in these types of games, not the away team. It was nuts. So 30 points again, made all of his 4 free throws. He missed 4 shots the entire game. 8 of his 9 makes were triples. Just nuts. He was a plus 10 out there. Siakam, 17, 6, and 5. He didn't do too much. Obi Toppin some big bench minutes. He just clutch dunks down the stretch. You had that double pump in overtime where should have been an and one where Mikal Bridges kind of slapped him on the way back. And Stan Van Gundy with just like a ruthless call in overtime where he was like, they bring Mitch. That's not a Stan Van Gundy impression. What am I doing? But he was like, you bring Mitchell Robinson in to play defense, and he didn't do any of that, I think is what he said. But TJ McConnell, too, he was another life raft for the Pacers in the first half where he came in at the end of the first quarter, early second quarter. He went nuts. And Mathurin played 21 minutes. But I thought one of the most interesting things here, Obi and Ben Shepherd were out there in crunch time. I mean, Turner didn't play a ton in the fourth quarter, and also Nembhard, like his minutes got limited a little bit. But this is nuts here. So look, you're starting 5, right? You got 43 from Siakam, 39 from Nesmith, 35 from Nembhard, 42 from Hallie, 31 from Turner. 20 from Toppin, 21 from Mathurin. You got double digits from McConnell and Bryant, and then Shepherd. So they played a full 10. They played a full 10 bros. On the Knicks side of things, and this is my concern with a long series between these two teams. You got Bridges, who played 46, OG 42, Cat just under 40. Brunson, they actually got a big rest on. He only played 38. We'll talk about him in a second. And then Hart with 44. And then you got 21 and 25 from Mitch Robin McBride. Campaign got a little run as well. What was really wild in this fourth quarter, right? They get a bucket. Pacers get a bucket. McConnell draws a foul. I believe it's 94-90 or 94-91, something like that. Draws a foul. It ends up being Brunson's 5th. Brunson goes to the bench. McConnell goes to the line. And there's like, I don't know, what was this, like 9 minutes left in the game, maybe around then. And Brunson goes out, and you're like, wow, this is a real turning point here. This is like similar to Jokic coming out of the game for Denver. And McConnell either goes 1 for 2, whatever it ends up being. It's a 2-point game. And then the Knicks go on a 14-0 run. And it was dumb stuff after dumb stuff on the Pacers side of things, where you had Nembhard. No, I think Neesmith was first, where he like jumps out, and I think he fouls Deuce McBride with like no time left. There was just no time left. It was actually, I'm sorry, it was Nembhard. I think it was Nembhard, then a Neesmith. There was like, it was such a bad possession for the Knicks. Deuce McBride is just kind of launching a three as the shot clock's winding down. He rolls into him, 3 foul shots. Then, like a couple of possessions later, or maybe the very next possession, Karl-Anthony Towns, same thing, 3 at the top of the key, same thing. They run into him, foul. He goes to the line for 3 times. And they were just kind of giving the game away. And then something happened, man. And it took, I don't know why it takes so long for the Pacers to do this, but they played a brand of like chaotic insanity defense there at the end. And they weren't even getting a ton of stops, but they were just kind of swarming in a way that they weren't doing earlier. And I don't know if it was desperation or what, but they were finally kind of like gang rebounding a little bit. It just, I don't know if they sensed the moment or what it was, but we're finally going nuts a little bit on the defensive end, and they were able to manufacture a couple of different stops. But man, you look at this fourth quarter, the Pacers scored 38 points, the Knicks scored 35. That is a ton of points. This is like the opposite of what you expect in playoff basketball, where usually it gets tight, slows down a little bit in the fourth, but no, that was not the case. Let's shout out Brunson and Towns here just for their games. Brunson 15 for 25, only 1 for 6 from 3. He had 43 and 5. Cat had 35 and 12, 9 for 11. Never forget from the line, knocked down 4 triples as well. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a Knicks hater. I'm not, because I do like it. I do like some of the stuff. I'm impressed with Brunson. I thought the offense was just pretty stagnant. And it was a lot of Brunson doing a lot of dribbling. There would be maybe 1 or 2 passes that would happen on most possessions, and Brunson getting really, and he was, to Jalen Brunson's credit, he was making some very tough shots. He was getting down into the paint, doing his little pivot stuff, trying to create some contact and then going up with it. But it was just a slow, stagnant offense. Like OG Anunoby finished with 16 points, but I think like in the fourth quarter, he had only had 6 at one point. And then he went on, when the Knicks went on that 14-0 run without Brunson, he scored like 5 immediately. But he was kind of MIA for a while. Bridges was not a lot of people were getting involved in it. And I think that kind of reared its head a little bit in overtime, where, again, the Pacers were just swarming around Jalen Brunson. And Brunson was kind of uncharacteristically not cool in the crunch time moments. And he got bailed out a couple of times, right? There was that one possession where the Pacers threw a double at him, and I think this was in regulation. They throw a double at him. He's like in the corner, kind of falling out of bounds, and then he just jumps and throws it. And I think he was trying to throw it off of Neesmith's leg. It doesn't hit Neesmith's leg. It like bounces off, and then I think Bridges scoops it, or Hart scooped it or whatever, and they ended up surviving that moment. But it was just an uncharacteristic performance from the Knicks down the stretch, who basically have been making their boat. The only reason they're still in the playoffs right now is because of how they've executed down the stretch in these close games in both rounds, against the Detroit Pistons and then against the Boston Celtics. So for them to just kind of cave in that moment was pretty surprising. Oh, John Dubb in the chat. Haven't seen John in a while. He sees the Pacers get a W. He's like, let me get over there. But yeah, it was surprising to see that. And then the Pacers, man, you gotta give the Pacers credit here, because it feels like every week or so there's just a stat that every single NBA writer has to tweet out, and our regulator already shared one of them earlier, just being like, this has only happened 2 times in NBA history, and both times are the Indiana Pacers from this playoff run. Like, they have just nuts comebacks. Rob Mahoney from Ringer and the Ringer NBA show last night group chat said, I believe he said something like, this is the best comeback time, or best comeback team in NBA history, or something like that. And I mean, you've got to start, the fact that they've done this so many times already is just bonkers. The other thing we had to point out, I saw some people in the chat saying it, like some brutal missed free throws down the stretch, where Cat split 2, OG split 2, just a couple of times where like free throws weren't going down. And in regulation, man, when you saw Cat go 1 for 2. And did you guys see this? I know No Dunks pointed this out too. Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, just took his sweet time getting those free throws up, and then bang, missed one of them. And then Halliburton goes down and gets that bucket. But just a wild game. And I did one brutal thing for the Knicks, and this is not why they lost this game, but it is tough that we review every fucking play, man. Every play gets reviewed, and it's tough, and it's slow, and it takes forever. But to not get that goaltend is crazy. The fact that we're reviewing like, oh, did that touch Brunson's pinky on the way out? And then there was a clear Miles Turner goaltend in overtime that ended up being a 5-point swing. I think it went from a 2-point miss to a 3-point play on the other end. And that, I mean, it's a 3-point differential in the game. That's really tough. That is really tough to just miss that call. But anyways, just an insane game. Todd says, Mike, if OG doesn't fumble that ball, the Knicks win. Yeah, I mean, and if they make their free throws, the Knicks win. And if they don't let Neesmith hit 5 threes or score 20 points in the fourth quarter, they win. If Brunson doesn't get into foul trouble, they probably win. There's a lot. If Cat doesn't miss a free throw, they win. You know, there's a lot of dumb stuff that happened. It's not just one play. Billy Jackson in the chat. Let's go, Billy. Good to see you, sir. But yeah, just Pacers steal game 1. And now, I mean, looking forward, this puts the Knicks in a really tough situation, because you again give out I know, John, I know the rules. I know why they did not review the goaltend. I'm just saying it's insane that we review every single damn thing that happens in this league, and then something as clear as that. I mean, it looked like a goaltend in real time. I don't think anybody besides probably John and the state of Indiana and like Pat McAfee were probably the only people that thought that was a clean block. I mean, it was so clear that was off the glass, I thought, in real time. I like said it to Kelsey when we were watching the game. I was like, oh yeah, that's a goaltend. I can't believe they didn't do it. But anyways, let's talk about the next couple of games. Like, the Knicks now put themselves in a tough spot. And I mean, I've said this about almost every series. It's hard to win 4 games anyways. And then when you have one in the bag and then give it away, it's like, now you got to win 5. You're in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now you're going to win 5 instead of 4. And I have one person to blame for this. And it's not Karl Anthony Towns. I see PM is upset about Cat. It's not Cat's fault. It's not Cat's fault. It's not even Jalen Brunson's fault. I'm not even going to blame Tom Thibodeau for this. You know who I'm going to blame? I'm going to blame Mayor Eric Adams, all right? Because they went out there and changed a bunch of street signs already. Now, Mayor Eric Adams hasn't found a W since probably like 2008. And he went out there after the second round. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm not saying you shouldn't celebrate. I'm not. I think Knicks fans should go crazy. I think you should be just so pumped that you're in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in what feels like forever. What I don't think we need is local government getting involved to help you celebrate. Because when's the last time any form of government has come in to help a celebration and it's been a successful thing? Because this is what ends up happening instead. You now have an avenue, a street, whatever you want to call it, called Campaign Place. I just don't think you should have that on a street sign. Payne Place already. And I think the second you put that out there, you put some bad zhuzh out there, and now all of a sudden you're screwed. So Knicks fans, you can be mad at Tibbs. You can be mad at OG Anunoby for not securing the ball. You can be mad at the refs for not calling a goaltend. But you should be mad at freaking Eric Adams' Campaign Place. What do you do? At least get to the finals first. You got to get to at least one banner. Win the Eastern Conference first, okay? And then you can start changing some street signs. Again, I'm not saying fans shouldn't be losing their shit. Go nuts, baby. Go nuts. Just can't be doing that. Can't be doing that, Eric. Go get your Turkish money. DeLon Wright got a street. Also, DeLon Wright got some minutes last night, though. Or he got a minute, 30 seconds at the end of a quarter. So shout out DeLon Wright, baby. Shout out DeLon Wright. Anyways, just a lot, man. That was such a fun game. It's such a stark difference of play between what we saw in the Western Conference Finals and what we saw last night. Just awesome stuff. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything else here in my bookmarks of stuff that I pulled out for tonight's game. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to point out a couple more things. So Underdog here, I'll just share the tweets here. And Ishmael, I have not seen this name. I haven't seen you in the chat in a long time, but I respect you coming in this morning and just asking for a giveaway. Ishmael, what kind of giveaway are you looking for? You looking for an NBA Top Shot moment? You looking for a SORARE card? Are you looking for a hug? What kind of giveaway are you looking for this morning? Let's go back over here. A couple more stuff that I wanted to point out. Evan Sidri, who I don't enjoy, he reminded us, though, Tyrese Halliburton, a main character in season 2 of Netflix Starting Five. I forgot about that. I forgot he was a main character in Starting Five. That's sick. This is going to be a fun one to have some good stuff to watch. I totally forgot about that. Haven't been paying attention. And the other thing here, Underdog tweeted this out. Tyrese Halliburton is now 11 for 12 on shots to tie or take the lead in the last 2 minutes of a game this season. 11 for 12. That's nuts, man. And I was having a fun conversation with the 89 Cavs last night in our little group chat with our boys Justin and Steve. And I think Steve asked, why does everybody hate Indiana? Like they're like, why are they not considered a likable team? And we were talking about how they were like a little bit trollish. And I don't have this clip saved, but I think a perfect example of this. So you saw there was a turnover, right? There was 0.2 seconds left. The game's over. The Pacers are up 3. There's less than 0.3 left. So they can't catch and shoot. This game's over. Pacers have the ball. Tyrese Halliburton just handed it to Karl Anthony Towns. That's like chef's kiss trolling, man. That's so good. That's so good. Now, you have to win the series. You have to. Yeah, the same way that Halliburton and the Pacers needed to win that game after giving the choke sign and then it being a tie game. Right? That is crazy. That was just wild stuff. But, man, what a fun start to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think my initial pick was that if this series went 7 games or like 6 or 7 games, I was leaning the Pacers. If the Knicks, I thought, held home court and won games 1 and 2, I would lean the Knicks. I just think the longer this series goes, the more it favors the style of play of the Pacers because, dude, the Pacers were just dogs from start to finish, man. They were picking up Brunson or Hart. They weren't even letting Brunson bring the ball up. They were just full court press the entire game, just pressure. And that's part of the reason why Carlisle can get away playing 10 deep because he knows that they're applying pressure this whole time, need fresh legs. And the Knicks, on the other hand, they now have to battle that pressure, but they're doing it by just playing 7 guys, Chris Lawn in the chat. What's up, Chris? New to basketball, do rookies or bench who never play, do they get a ring if their team wins? Chris, they do. They do. Not only do they get a ring, if you like are a trainer, you get a ring. If you are like anything on the staff gets a ring. Good question, Chris. Good question. Yeah, you get a ring. You're still, as long as you're a part of the team, you're a part of the organization, you get it. You get it. Man, but what a fun game, man. We finally have villains in the NBA. It's been a long time coming. Yeah. One other thing I wanted to talk about, like I'm trying to like figure out where I want to go with this take. I agree that some of the whistles are annoying. Some of like the foul baiting stuff that happens, and it's on both sides. Like I thought the flow of the first quarter was awesome. And now there wasn't a lot of defense, but it was still fun. It was just like a lot of high octane offense. There was good rhythm and flow. Again, not a lot of defense, but good rhythm and flow to the game. Not a lot of ball stopping. I mean, not a lot of like timeouts and stoppage of play. Not a lot of, it was just good flow. Second half, a lot of whistles. And then a lot of people asking for whistles the whole time. And that's not as fun. But you know what's less fun than that? Everybody tweeting about it. I think like the NBA discourse, I think we need to have like a group meeting. We need to have a town hall about why we enjoy watching the game and how we should talk about the game. Because there are a couple things I can't stand. The word baiting was used way too much on my timeline yesterday. It's way too much. Oh, the MVP is baiting. Is a lot of bait. Like, yes, some of the calls were bad. You don't need to do 9 tweets about it. You don't. That's too many. You should be capped out at 1. You should get 1. Another thing, nobody gives a fuck about the NBA ratings. I promise you. The NBA ratings do not impact me at all. If you're watching the game, that's great. If you're not watching the game, that's also great. I don't care how many people tuned in, and neither should you, unless you work for TNT, you work for ESPN, or you work for a franchise. It shouldn't matter. You don't care. How many people tune in and watch the Bear? You don't know. Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't impact you at all. So let's go back to what is important. And one of the things that is important, you guys want to talk about, you want to have some hot takes on Twitter, you want to do shit like that, then go follow Evan Turner, okay? Evan Turner's not tweeting about ratings. He's not tweeting about foul baiting. You want to know what Evan Turner's tweeting? Here you go. Evan Turner out here tweeting stuff like this. And this is where I want your energy to be focused. This is a wild take, he says, and it has nothing to do with nothing, but I believe if Thanasis got the same amount of minutes as Josh Hart's, then I think he could be equally as impactful. If Thanasis had the same, so you're out here tweeting SGA's getting too many foul calls or fucking enhancing like it's a Zapruder film on Jalen Brunson, like getting an and one on Benedict Mathurin being like, this is what's wrong with the game. Imagine tuning in right now and seeing this. Evan Turner, on the other hand, is saying Thanasis is just as good. Thanasis congruent sign Josh Hart. That's the type of energy you need to be bringing to social media. Nobody cares about your foul baiting. Shut up. Shut up. You get one tweet about it. And if you tweet about TV ratings, muted, blocked. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Okay, Todd. Hey, guys, then Todd, start a YouTube channel and you could just show highlights of people. I'm not saying it's not a problem. I'm saying you tweeting 5 different highlights does nothing. I'm not interested in it. I don't want to see it. I don't care. I promise you, people have this thought that like casuals are tuning in. Do you think anybody's tuning into the Super Bowl for the first time? And then it's like, I'd be a diehard NFL fan if they got rid of the tush push. Oh, this is my first time watching a football game this year. But if they didn't call those dumb late hits, I'd watch week 1 through 18. I promise you, nobody's tuning into the NBA playoffs for the first time, seeing that play where Brunson got an and one when Mathurin fouled him and being like, wow, I would love to watch November basketball, but if they're going to call these and ones, I'm just going to wait till the next finals. Nobody's doing that. Nobody is doing that. So dumb. All right, let's wait, what's the other thing that I was going to say before I started yelling about that? Oh, let's talk about the MVP because we got to take away some people's votes, I think. We got to take away some people's votes. The MVP, before we do that, what was Shams doing yesterday? Do you think, is that going to be a controversy? Controversy chocolate? Is that going to be a controversy? Like, what was that? So it's supposed to get announced on TNT, right? I thought that's how they did the. Now, we all knew it was going to be SGA, but that was kind of crazy for him to go out there and do that. I like just to tweet it out 5 or 6 hours ahead of time. I thought that was kind of nuts. I'm curious if there's any sort of fallout from that. Probably not, especially since TNT doesn't really have a, it's not like the NBA's invested in TNT anymore, right? But let's go take a look at some of the voting here. Because Shea, congrats to Shea, man. I thought he deserved it. Like, I know a lot of people, I would not have been mad if Jokic had won it. I thought I probably would have voted for Jokic, but whatever. I don't think this is a scenario where it's like Embiid, Jokic, or like that Russ, Harden, Kawhi season. I thought these guys both had like historically great seasons. And you know what? The tiebreaker, I'm fine with the tiebreaker being this OKC team won 100 more games than the Nuggets. They've been the most dominant team, then they dismantled the Nuggets 2 in 7 games, so I'm fine with it. So Shea gets 71 of the first place votes. He got 29 second place votes, 0 third, 0 fourth, 0 fifth, 913. That's a clear W, right? Clears Jokic. Jokic comes in second. He had 29 first place votes, 71 second place votes. So all of the first and second place votes went to the same 2 guys. That's great. Third place votes, Giannis leads the way. He's got 470 total points. He had 88 third place votes, 3 fifth place votes. Tatum, This is how I had it too. Tatum, 11 third place votes, 84 fourth place votes. He finishes 4 fifth place votes. He finishes fourth. Now, Spida, he finishes fifth here. You get 1 third place, 3 fourth place votes, but he got 65th place votes. What I think is crazy here, and I think you can make cases for a lot of these guys. Cade Cunningham, he was the best player on that team. Got them to like a 6 seed. This is maybe a little too high. But whatever. Ant, Steph, Brunson probably should have been a little higher in my opinion. Harden's kind of crazy. Mobley's kind of crazy. LeBron finishing 6th. Like, what are we doing? LeBron finishing 6th place. What are we doing? What are we doing? Why? I mean, I thought he was good. I thought he was good this year. I thought he should all NBA, I guess. But not. Are we giving him first team all NBA? I don't understand. I don't understand. Like 6th place, LeBron ahead of Ant-Man and Steph. Even Steph, I still think I'd have Steph ahead of him. I would have had Brunson ahead of him. I want to know who was voting for LeBron there. I mean, I guess like at that point you're like, well, who cares who comes in 6th? I guess I don't know. That seems wild. Yeah, Spider got a 3rd place vote. I bet that was somebody being like, well, they got the most wins in a regular season, so you got to give it to them. You got to give it to them. That would be my guess. But congratulations to SGA. Well deserved. I thought that was a lot of fun. Yeah, Harden getting a 5th place vote. I mean, I thought Harden was awesome. I had him on an All NBA team, but yeah, that 5th place vote is just nuts, man. I think it's just so clear where that should have been. But congrats to SGA, Jokic, fuel for the fire. I did think it was kind of. I think we talked about it yesterday, just about how Denver, the conversation around Denver is like, man, they're screwed. Their future's toast. There's no way to improve their team. And it seems so clear that OKC is the best team in the league right now, and that the Nuggets took them to 7 games. So maybe the overreaction is a little too aggressive. All right, tonight, baby, we've got some more hoopy hoops. We got game 2. And speaking of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the question now, are they able to bounce back? I'm sorry, are the Timberwolves able to bounce back? This game starts at 8:30 Eastern on the worldwide leader on ESPN. If you haven't figured it out yet, the Eastern Conference will be on TNT. The Western Conference will be on, what's it called? ESPN. The Thunder are favored by 7.5. And you know what? I'm not going to be able to watch a lick of this game tonight because I'm going to the Brooklyn Paramount Theater, because I think it was my wife's Christmas present, or birthday present, to see the singer-songwriter artist known as James Bay. I'm gonna let it go. Yeah, it's James Bay night. So I'm not watching any of this game. I will be at a concert with a bunch of other probably, I would say like 30 to 35-year-old women. I think I imagine that's where I'm going to be. But anyways, OKC favored by 7.5 tonight. And this is a real test here for Minnesota. Are they going to shoot better? Are they going to be able to knock down some threes? Will they have anybody on their bench do anything meaningful? I'm looking at you, Dante. I'm looking at you, Nasreed. You can't have a towel. You can't have your own towel and then not hit any threes. You got to start knocking them down. And then we also, who's the other guy? Jaden McDaniels. Are you going to be able to stay out of foul trouble? Can you be out there? Because I feel like there's one or two things that are going to happen. We're either going to see more of what we saw in the first half from Minnesota with some better shooting, or we see what OKC did in the second half. And maybe the OKC, like the Thunder, figured some stuff out and they're like, hey, we actually know how to defend these guys now. But I think it's going to come back to, like, can Minnesota hit threes? I don't know. I had OKC in 5. I kind of still lean that way. I think they get 1 at home. I think OKC goes up 2-0, splits in Minnesota, closes it out in game 5 at home, and then probably gets to sit back and wait for that Eastern Conference to wrap up. But I just think this OKC team is too much, man. Tickets as low as $93, by the way. Good Lord. I need a fan base like that. Conference finals, $93 to get in there with all those white people in a blue t-shirt. Come on. OKC. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're getting clowned shooting 53s, Todd. I think they have to shoot those threes. Rudy has not been able to establish himself. I think it's like 3-point shots and then Ant and Randall attacking the rim. That's what they got to do. But if they're unable to make shots, they're not going to either that or they have to muddy the game up and just get physical. Shout out Olivia Newton-John. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for that. You guys have anything else? I'm trying to. I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to get to today. I feel like there's one other thing I wanted to get to, but not a ton of offseason news. Comment says if OKC wins in 4 or 5, does he become known as Can't Man? So I thought that was hilarious. And I hate Skip Bayless. I'm not a Skip Bayless fan, but like insert that Onion article, like guy who gets everything wrong. Oh, the guy you hate the most occasionally shares the same opinion. I forget what the actual meme is, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he called him Can't Man. I thought that was hysterical. No, OKC is a better team than Minnesota. OKC was the 1 seed. They were the best team. Like, historically speaking, this is one of the best defenses we've ever seen, at least in the regular season. They also have the MVP. I mean, like 1 through 9, they've got like better players, you know? I don't think they should be getting dinged up for if they get bounced. I do think Minnesota's offseason, and we're not there yet, but is low-key one of the more interesting ones because like some of these teams have been eliminated, like the Celtics and the Cavs, are in weird spots. Like, what are they going to do? They don't have a lot of wiggle room. Minnesota's at this place where they do have the wiggle room in the sense that if they're willing to pay the tax, then they can still keep these guys together. But Minnesota, historically speaking, does not like to pay the tax. But now they've got new guys in charge. So I don't really know. What if he gets 18 a game? No, it still doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's not going to get 18 a game. He'll get more in this game. But I still think like you look at, it's so easy for OKC to defend Minnesota right now if they're going to go 15 for 51 from 3. Hey, let's throw 2 guys at Randall. Let's see if these others can actually knock down a shot. And so far they haven't. Will OKC be favored in Minnesota? If they go up 2-0, if OKC goes up 2-0 tonight, I bet on Saturday they're favored by 2.5 in Minnesota. That would be my guess. And if it's 1-1 going back to Minnesota, I would say OKC is favored by 4.5. Thank you, Mike. Will Hallie's dad be invited back to Indy these playoffs? So I did see that Chuck last night was trying to say that he should be. I hope he is. Let's get him back. But this was the other thing I wanted to share here. Speaking of Chuck, thank you for that memory. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Chuck had a hot mic last night, and this is pretty funny. This is Awful Announcing that shared this.
In just a second, as we continue here from New York. Can you believe that he never made a defensive team? They were also winning 10 games. I can't believe you were trying to wedge that in when I'm trying to tell him what the vote was for MVP. I can't believe they say these guys who vote don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Got a little F-bomb in there, baby. Shout out Chuck. Got a little F-bomb in there. Wasn't OKC favored in Denver? I think so. I think they were like 1.5 or 2, but it was close. It wasn't like a big. It wasn't. I only remember the home games. I just remember the Celtics and Denver. Both were. I'm sorry. The Celtics and the Thunder were both like 10.5 point favorites or 9.5 point favorites for game 1, and then I remember they both lost. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, you just bet the dogs. But no, I think OKC does this. Yeah, surely Chuck will get the Sneeps treatment. Listen, man. Let's do a mental health check and then see if there's anything else we need to get into before we get on out of here. And this is for our guy Ishmael, who earlier asked if we were doing a giveaway. I'm sorry this didn't come with a hand job. I just don't think it's included in the airdrops. That's stylistically, that's tough to include that in an airdrop. So the rest of the week, what do we got going on? It's just tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be jumping on again the NBA bit, but we also have our guy Andrew Laird's doing a show that's going to be less about basketball or so rare. It's just going to be about content. So if you're interested in that, that'll be on his channel tomorrow. And then I think I'm going to have a fun little fantasy show, get some like bets in and stuff. We'll do that Friday. And then I think we have a Count the Dings episode tomorrow, a Hoop Sense episode as well tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Anything else that I missed here? It's weird. It feels like we've got like 40 very good minutes of content a day for these shows. And then that's it. Because it's like we don't have as much to talk about right now. But Underdog back in New York City, says Weisberg. Yeah, sort of. So we can do drafts. We can do like basketball drafts, football drafts, baseball drafts, and I think golf drafts. We still can't do any pick'ems. We can't do any W stuff. Weisberg, I know you mentioned that in the chat that the Liberty just got a big old investment or valuation or whatever. W's been off to a fun start. I don't know if you guys, honestly, and this isn't not just saying this for the sake of saying it to look like a good guy. The W's been sick. I highly recommend it. Whether you just want to gamble on it or whatever, it's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. So this is I was like a casual Liberty fan for like a year or two. And then last year is probably the first year that I like locked in and really followed it a lot. Maybe some WNBA bits. Yeah, it's coming. This guy right here is gonna be joining us soon. Yeah, we will be talking about some W. We will. I'll explain the offseason and what that's gonna look like a little bit more. I mentioned it yesterday, but I think we're gonna go to. I think we're going to do 2 shows a week that are going to be long shows with like guests, like a few hours, like a 3-hour Monday and a 3-hour Thursday, I think is what we're going to do. And then we'll probably have some, and then like on the off days, we'll do some like paywall stuff, I think. So, but yeah, I'll announce the off-season stuff maybe next week once I got to hammer down a couple of more things. But we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun, man. I'm excited for the off season just so we can chill. You should do a WNBA 101 special. Well, listen, you should all go follow the Let the Girls Play podcast on YouTube. They came on last year. We did a show last year with them. There's some comedy friends who are very, very funny people who are sharp W people. So go follow Let the Girls Play. They're on YouTube now too. They were just in podcast form, but YouTube, TikToks, all the stuff. Go follow them if you need some W content. They're not gonna, not for like gambling purposes, but just, fun stuff. But I think that's it, gang. I think that's it. We're getting more contests over on Splash Sports today if you want to mess around with that. But if not, yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. Go do some underdog drafts if you want. And we'll be back tomorrow. And then, yeah, I hope everybody enjoys the game tonight. I'm going to be at James Bay, baby. So maybe let it go.